I have an itch for a new blanket, so let's take a look in the yarn basket, which is overflowing. Part of the reason I want to make a blanket. I have this colorway that I've printed off the internet. The blanket that this is from is actually a crochet one, but I'm going to do it in knit. I have found a tutorial that will help me get a similar effect in knitting rather than crochet. Partly because I've just finished a crochet blanket. I have quite a few crochet blankets, but also because this is going to sound dodgy. But when I was at the show putting my entries in, I was submitting a crochet blanket, and they mentioned that I should have done knit because there was only one entry in the knit section, knit blanket section, and like 15 crochet blankets. So I'm just like, maybe for my entries this year, I'm going to knit a blanket. I have yarn everywhere. I want to start a jumper with those sock yarn. So I'm just digging through. I have quite a solid stash of Stylecraft Special DK, which is kind of my go-to blanket yarn. And I'm just having a bit of a pick, seeing if I can come up with colors that kind of match this colorway that I found. It's just so pretty. I did try doing like a direct match to the colors that were suggested for a different brand, but in the end I thought I'm just going to actually pick through what I've got. As you can see, this basket has gotten so full. So this is a good excuse to use up some of this yarn and clear out a little bit of space ready for some new stuff. And I want to also start a new blanket because I enjoy having something to do with my hands of an evening that doesn't require a lot of eyesight, which cross stitch would do. And it's a little bit easy, and I can kind of like chat with my family and watch a bit of TV, sometimes even just prop my Kindle up, do some reading, and blankets are great for that. So in here somewhere, forgotten half these colors. I feel like I've got one of the colors that's on this list, but I can't find it here somewhere, and I'm just trying to work out why not. Once upon a time, these were all in color order, which would have made it a lot easier, but as I've been working on things and picking through things. So I'm just going to tidy away what I don't need so that I've got a bit of space to take a look at it, tuck all these back in here. It is so full, I literally have to push my hand down on top of this yarn to get it in. I put all my white yarns across the front here so that once I close the basket, push, it kind of makes it nice and clean looking down, and all I can see is white yarn, even though the inside of the yarn basket is an absolute disaster. So over here somewhere, I'll just grab this, my current projects box. There might be some yarn in here because I did start a project with the specific color I'm thinking of that I can't find in my basket, but I'm not seeing it in here. Actually, I think it may be up the top, so I'm just going to pop this away. I have a couple of in progress boxes, so I'm just going to grab my step stool, and up the top here on the very top of my shelf is ongoing projects, which is kind of like whips that aren't immediately being worked on, but they're still in progress and I don't want to pack them away or give up on them. And depressingly, it's a much larger box than current projects. So I'm going to have a look through here. Found it, and now I have enough at least to get started. I've got the first block done, and today I want to join as you go style. And so I think I'm going to twist it like this and then join down this side, and I need the triangle to go up this way. So what I need to do is cast on colour A, B, that down there, A there, so then that will increase on the right side going up that way. So the increases have to be on the right side, which locks me in. If I go up that way, yeah, no, that's going to be the wrong way. I need to come down, I think. So I'm going to get my needles and give it a crack. I think, yeah, start at the top here. So I'm going to get this yellowy color here, which will be known as color B in this particular tutorial. I will link it below, and I'm just going to come and pick up stitches down the side. For this particular pattern, I need 22 of this first color. So I'm just going to pick those up, coming down the side this way. Okay, and so that's all of the first color I need to cast on. So I'll grab this other yarn here and loop it on. This is my very first attempt at this kind of technique, and not going to lie, I am just winging it. So I'm just going to do a long tail cast on with this white for the number of stitches that I need. I will confess I do feel a little bit worried about how this is going to work out, but I think I've got it straight in my mind. What's the right side? What's the wrong side? And get it to where it needs to be, like to get it set up correctly. I hope. Who knows? This could get interesting. I'll get this cast on. And I'll try again, because my biggest problem forever in long tail cast on is getting the tail either long enough or not too long. I feel like there's probably a proper trick to work out how much tail to leave for this kind of cast on. I haven't yet learnt it. So I'm just going to quickly get this one done. Yeah, that cast on seemed to go fairly smoothly. I think, yeah, that's the wrong side there. That's definitely the right side. Okay. So I'm going to be brave. I am going to knit my first row and see how it turns out. It was easier than I was expecting, actually. I've been putting this off for a little while because I was just a little bit nervous about getting this join as you go working right. So seems to have worked. Let's get this section knitted to the join. And done. Blah, look at that. That's so cool. Oh, grab that little stitch, pop it back on there, and fix it up. Let's pick this. I'll just tighten that. Give this a tie in a second. But that's it done. It worked well. I'm not sure about the texture. So obviously the square is garter stitch, but because of the technique, that's coming out more as a knit. But I can't flip it over and do it the other way because then my angle will be in the wrong way. So maybe I just need to live with that. I don't know. It's going to bug me a little bit, but I think I'm just going to push on, see how it goes. I'll do a couple of rows, see how I feel at the end of this block, and then, yeah, maybe it's just something I'm going to have to accept as a feature of the blanket. So I'm going to go ahead and knit row 2, and hopefully with a bit of extra garter stitch it will look a little bit better. So let's run across this round 2. And done. And yeah, that is definitely noticeable, but I think it's going to work. And the same thing will happen then on the other end. So I think, yeah, I'm just going to keep going. Let's see how this works out. Thank you for joining me today as I work on my blanket, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video.